So today is about reflection. Yesterday we saw what occurs every 15 minutes in the United States as a result of drunk and distracted driving. Now it's time to hear and see the consequences of those poor decisions and the loss to family, friends, and community. Please take a moment here and watch this video with us.
Good morning. All of us sitting here in front of you today represent those who die every 15 minutes from a drunk driving accident. Last night, we participated in a very impactful, eye-opening retreat, and here to reflect on it is your classmate, Katie Wetmore.
Dear Mom, this experience has been life-changing. Walking among my classmates while dead has been somewhat eye-opening. The Grim Reaper, my own obituary being read to my peers. I felt helpless. I couldn't understand why I had tears in my eyes half the day, or why my heart raced at the reoccurring flatline. Then it hit me. Today was unexpected, just like how it would be in reality. To you, I can't even imagine how difficult this was. What if it was Parker? What if he had died while driving in that accident? But that was real, and this isn't, so it must have brought some sort of comfort to know I'd be coming home tomorrow. Shattered dreams have made me realize how deadly this actually is. The police officers in their own accounts were almost jaw-dropping. But through all of this, I just can't get Parker out of my head. I understand now why he's so cautious of me and what I do. He doesn't want me down that road. He doesn't want me in that hill where he was at my age. I miss you so much, and watching these videos of parents grieving makes me ache more and more to come home. After today, I promise to you. I promise not to drive drunk. I promise not to get in that car. Mom, I promise with everything. I can't put you through that call or home visit. I'm promising for you. I love you so much. Thank you for supporting me and doing this.
The experience Shattered Dreams has provided me has been very emotional, from hearing how accidents like these have affected people's lives to seeing it portrayed in real life and in videos. It's really shocking to me to hear and see what the aftermath of drinking and driving brings about. It makes me realize that my actions aren't only affecting me, they're affecting my family, my friends, my community, and potentially anyone else on the road. I think of my family most of all, that for one night they don't have their child, and some families don't get their kid back after the 24-hour mark. I don't have my parents, I don't have my sister, I don't have my dearest of friends. I think of how everything can be taken away from an individual, victim or suspect, within a split second. They could lose their future and even their life. From this point on, I'm deciding to cherish every moment, even the rough ones, because I'd rather have a bad day instead of none. I plan to cherish the people I encounter daily and never let an issue linger or end on bad terms, because we aren't promised tomorrow. Shattered Dreams project impacted me in ways unimaginable, especially with no communication to my parents or my friends. It really stimulates the devastation loss results in. I encourage whoever hears this to be smart, and even if you mess up, it's not just your life you are ruining if you choose to drive. I guarantee you parents would much rather ground you than never speak to you again. I learned that I am not invincible. Anything can happen to anyone at any time.
I know it's this kind of weird thing to have taken out of this whole thing, but for some reason, this process has made me feel loved and worthy. I have been personally struggling with loving who I am and understanding that I am worth life, but watching and trying to understand what the families and friends of people who have been affected and involved in these accidents helped me realize that I have people in my life that would be affected if this happened to me, that would care if I had to die. And that's not just me. Every single person here could be affected by this, and in turn, all of your friends and your families. The decisions that we make matter. Everything is important. Choosing to drink and drive, or choosing to let your friend drink and drive, will only lead to the suffering of countless others. You are worth making good decisions for. Your life is important. Your existence matters. It's important to offer help and choose the hard choice. You have the capability to make hard choices that will save the lives of not only you, but everyone around you. So make that choice. Choose love and choose kindness. The easy road is to sit back and let things happen. But knowing that you are so loved, that you are important to every person in your life, it will become easier to make these tough decisions. To be there for others, to risk your relationships in order to keep people safe. If you love and care about someone, it's more important to make the decision to protect them before wondering if it's just going to offend them. So now that you know that you are loved, put this love onto others and make them feel valued. Help them understand that life has a purpose. You have the ability to do that.
Okay. Personally, being one of the 7 crash victims these past couple of days has impacted me a lot, especially reenacting the scene, because you will hear so much about what actually goes on, but when you're actually in that situation and seeing how the first responders act, it is really impactful. Growing up, I have always had my parents tell me stories about all the different tragedies that have happened because they're both police officers. And no matter how many stories they have told me, this experience will always impact me more than anything I have ever heard. While we were on the retreat, we had a bunch of different activities that we were doing, and one of the stories we heard about was about a police officer who was on a scene already, and a drunk driver drove past all of the cars where they were barricading and killed one of the officers. And this impacted me a lot because when I was younger, my parents worked types of shifts like this, and that could have been me, and I could have grown up without a mom or a dad. So personally, that was what stuck with me the most. But besides that, at the end of the retreat, we all got letters from a parent or a loved one basically writing to us as we were dead. And seeing what my mom had to say to me made me realize that it's never worth it, and that no one should ever take it for granted. Our parents would way rather you call them to any hour of the night than get in a car. And so I just hope everyone really thinks about that the next time they're in a situation like this. Today and yesterday, to say the least, was a day that makes drinking and driving and the effects of it more real than ever. When I first heard about Shattered Dreams, I wasn't really sure what it exactly was or what part I would play if I was selected to speak or to be a part of it. I never thought about it in the way that I think about it now, and I've never thought about the way that it would impact me until I was a part of it. Starting out yesterday, we, 7, were placed in a room with no phones and basically got to play games, and that was about it. And that really just shows what it feels like to be away from your friends, and I hope that that showed our friends what it felt like if we were really gone. I didn't think it would be as hard as it was, but it makes it feel more real than you would think. As I made my way to the retreat, I knew that we were going to be doing many activities, but not really knowing what to expect. After hearing many speakers and doing activities, it made me know more than ever not to make that decision to drink and drive or get in the car with somebody who has been drinking. Something that really stuck out to me yesterday was a quote that someone told us: "The weight of our habits are not felt until they are too heavy to break." This really made me realize that although it may be a habit and something so easy, to break that habit before it's too late and you have impacted so many others' lives and made such a dumb choice that can change your life and all of those around you. My hope from this is that people realize the effects this has had on everyone. I hope no one ever has to go through the sadness of your family finding out that you're gone due to something so easy to prevent. I hope that everyone, and including myself, have realized that I and we have so much more life to live, and we should not take that for granted. I hope everyone realizes it's
it's not worth it, that you are better than a dumb choice. Don't be afraid to make a decision that may not be the cool one, and that people may judge you for it, because I promise in the end they will support you and have your back for making that decision. Another thing that really stuck out to me was one of the speakers that came and talked to us was involved in Shattered Dreams in high school, and then later in college was found at a red light, not knowing how he got there or how he even got behind the wheel. So I really hope that from this experience you choose to take it and spread the positive awareness for this.
Now please join in welcoming our amazing speaker, Mr. Eric Stevens. Mr. Stevens has, over the past 5 years, volunteered his time with Mothers Against Drunk Driving and Shattered Dreams programs across the state. In addition, he has worked closely with the Texas Department of Transportation in a variety of campaigns. Please put your hands together for Mr. Eric Stevens.
All right, good afternoon. Can I be more transparent with my seniors than I have been? I haven't had a drink of alcohol in about almost 5 years. I haven't gotten in a car after drinking behind the wheel in almost 5 years. That lets you know that I used to drink and drive. But you know what woke me up? Death knocked at my door. And when I opened it, it was holding my daughter, Jade Gabrielle Stevens, that beautiful young lady on the left there. That's my family there on the right. That was my family 4 going on 5 years ago. I lost my baby girl, the youngest of the group, from a drunk driver. To recap my story, my reality, it was similar to the reenactment of the film that you just have watched. There was a lot of similarities that took place in that film and that reenactment that was true in my life. We were driving home. We had just celebrated Jade's 10th birthday. We had just had a good time. Wonderful time. Great time. My baby's last words that I heard from her was that when we were getting in the car, getting ready to go home, leaving her birthday party, her brother, my son, was beating on the door, saying, "Let me in, unlock the door." And in her witty, little smart mouth, she looked at him and said, "Hey man, I'm coming." And those were the last words that I heard my daughter say, ever. As we were driving home, me and my wife was discussing what we were going to do for the weekend, for the next day. And I was at the red light, and Jade was asleep, sitting behind me, and she was leaning on the door. The light turned green, and I've driven this way numerous amounts of time, but I didn't see what was coming. My wife screamed out my name, and I looked to the left, and all I saw was this large white pickup truck, old, beat up, steel, and it was right there in my face. And I cried out to God. began to spin. And I began to spin, and I began to spin, and I began to spin. And all the while I was spinning, I was saying, okay, God, I'm still alive. So I know everyone else in the car is still alive. That's what it seemed like in eternity. It finally came to a stop. Jade was sitting behind me, so I knew that we got the brunt of the impact. So my nickname for her was Queen, and without even looking, I said, Queen, are you good? Because I just knew that she was good, because I was good. And everyone else in the car was good. So I just knew that Jade was good. I said, Jade, are you good? And as I turned around and looked at Jade, something was off. Something that I couldn't comprehend at the time. I said, she was laying in her brother's lap. And she had these cute little braids, and it was in a bun. And that was that picture on the bottom right there. That was the same day, and that was the outfit that she was wearing. As you can see, her hair is in a little bun, and she had some long braids. And they were down, and her hair was down. And I was saying, okay, so why is she still sleeping? But then I said, oh, she's not sleeping. She's dying. She had one eye barely open, and the other one was closed. And she was already turning blue at impact. And I looked down at her leg, and her leg was snapped in half, and it was stuck in between the door and the seat. And she had a long gash on her thigh. And she was barely breathing. And I began to get hysterical, and I was going crazy, and I was stuck in the car, and I couldn't move, and I was yelling out to God, please don't let my baby die. And then by that time, the drunk moseys up to the car, and he's staggering, and he's reeking of alcohol, and he's saying, you ran a red light. Very belligerent. And I begin to curse out at him, furious, because he comes up to the car, and he's trying to place blame on us, and my daughter is dying in the back seat of the car. So after a few choice words with this guy, I see his friend throwing beer bottles out of the car, out of their truck. He's just tossing them in the woods. He's just tossing. And the police arrive on the scene, and they arrest both of them. And then I focus my attention back on my baby. And my wife, who's a registered nurse, she jumped in the back, and she's holding her head. And I'm screaming at her to do CPR. She said, but it's too much glass. I may puncture something. She's hysterical. She said, no. She's just saying, fight, 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 fight. Come on, Jade, fight. I'm saying, Jade, don't you die on me. It seems like an eternity. I hear the sirens coming. I hear the life light now coming. So I look at my baby, and my baby found enough strength to open her eye a little bit and to look up at us. And she looked up at me, and I seen a tear roll down her face. It just came down, streamed down like this. She kind of smiled a little bit. She took 2 short breaths. I'll never forget the sound. And the blood flowed out of her nose. And I'm screaming at my wife, what is this? You're a nurse, what is this? She's in such shock. And my wife goes, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Is she dead? No, I don't know. Life Flight gets there. They drag my baby out. They put her on this gurney. I'm saying, yeah, they're going to put that thing on her chest, defibrillator thing, or whatever they call it, and shot her heart back, and they're going to bring my baby back to life if she is dead. They put me in the ambulance. The sweet paramedic, she was trying to get an IV on me and she couldn't get it. And I finally said, ma'am, just do me a favor. Can you just pray with me to the hospital? She said, I can do that. So we're going down to the medical center, to the hospital. And when they wheel me in, the lobby is full of people already. Like 75 to 100 people who've gotten word that we were in a bad accident. And when they wheel me in, my mom comes in first. I didn't share this with the other group. And I go, Mom, what are you doing? Well, I just come to check on you, baby. Go pray for Jaden. I'm fine. Okay. 5 minutes later, my father-in-law comes in. Hey, how you doing? What are you doing in here? Go pray for my baby. 10 minutes after that, the chaplain comes in. I go, hey, wait. Why are you here? She goes, no, I know your wife. I've seen her around. We've talked sometimes, at work. I just come to check on you. Go check on my baby. Finally, about an hour passes by. The nurse comes back in after they have me all IV'd up and everything. And I say, I haven't heard anything on my daughter. She came in as Jane Doe. We were in a bad car accident. Where is my baby? What is going on with her? They said, okay, sir, we'll be right back. About 5 minutes after that, they come in, single file line, about 5 of them. And they walk into my bed. My wife is sitting next to me. And I focus on the chaplain now. I really focus on the chaplain now, because the chaplain is now carrying a box of Kleenex. Oh, Kleenex. She didn't have that before, but now she has Kleenex. So I look straight at the doctor, the surgeon, and I say, I know you're not coming in here to tell me what I think you're coming in here to tell me. Are you telling me that my sweet little baby girl did not live? She didn't make it. The doctor bowed her head. She couldn't look at me. The pain was all over the hospital room. She bowed her head. She said, I was hysterical. It was as if my soul was snatched up out of me. I automatically felt empty inside. That's why I can relate to the film, to the reenactment, because that was me. Because I said, take me to her. And as they took me to her, she was laying on that gurney just like that, with that blanket pulled up to her neck just like that. And I hovered over her, and I moaned, and I cried on her just like that. I did that just like the film. That was me. It's so real. This is not a game. That's what woke me up, because I used to drink and drive. But Death said, here you go. Here's your daughter. Here's your baby girl. The baby girl that you begged your wife for, that you just had to have one more daughter. Just one more. Here she is. Here. You no longer see her down here again. You no longer see her in high school. She would have been a freshman in high school this year. You won't be able to walk her down the aisle to get married. You won't celebrate a sweet 16. You won't see any of her accomplishments. Prom? You won't get to see her at prom. She's dead. Because someone decided to get behind the wheel, drunk, and kill your daughter because of a wrong decision, a poor decision, just like some decisions that you've made. You won't get to see that. But you guys have a chance. So I go down the same road that the guy that killed my daughter did. What type of man will you be when your friends say, hey man, let's go get one? And get in the car and drive. What kind of woman will you be and say, come on, Kennedy, let's go get one. Or we'll be fine. Will you be a leader or a follower? I live this every day, and I'm so hurt and crushed all the time. Me and my wife were riding the other day, and I said, you know what? I thought I would be over the anger. It's almost 5 years. I'm angry. Because I see her friends that are grown, that are in high school, that are gorgeous, that are doing things. I wonder what my baby would have been. I wonder what she would have done. I wonder how she would have been. She would have been so gorgeous. She would have been so pretty. I just wonder, I was robbed. Which one will you be? Thank you for having me. That's my time, guys.
One more round of applause for Mr. Stevens, please. You guys had an opportunity the last couple of days to experience some things, watch the videos, experience what happens in your class. Nothing comes close to the reality, though, of the situation, right? There's nothing, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine it. But what I can do is say a gigantic thank you to you, Mr. Stevens, for coming here and sharing this with you, because I'll be honest, if it impacts one of you, if one of you makes that decision to not drink and drive, then his time today is worth it. But God, I hope it's way more than one of you. I really do. You guys are seniors. A lot of you are driving. We see you every day in and out of this parking lot, and we're no fools. We know the temptations are there. Some of you may have done it. Some of you may have had stuff to drink at a party or something like that, and then got in a car and drove home, or drove your friends, and you got lucky. You can't count on that luck, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot count on that luck. Please, I beg you, don't. And there's a lot of folks we have to thank for today. A whole lot. We have our police officers here. They did a fantastic job helping us arrange this. So many faculty members put forth a lot of time and effort and arrange things. Just be a waste of time for me to try to remember everybody. But just a gigantic thank you to all of you. Yeah, give them a round of applause. Our students, your fellow classmates, took multiple days and time to be able to take an opportunity to share with you guys what they've shared with you over the last couple of days. So give your classmates a round of applause as well. You can clap for yourselves and each other too. And then just we can't say thank you enough to the AV department, Ms. Varani and Ms. Grayson, for their leadership, for putting together this fantastic video for the last couple of days. So give them a big round of applause. I want to take a moment here, just some personal recognition. If you are a senior AV member and you worked on this project, will you stand so we can say thank you to you right now? Do that real quick. Where's Spencer King? Spencer, where are you? Spencer. So, Spencer spent a whole lot of his spring break time editing this video, and so just a really special thank you to you, Spencer. We really do appreciate it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is about decisions, right? And I know us old folks always say it's about the decisions that you make, it's about the decisions that you make. But you don't have to trust us in this case. You don't. And you heard it directly from somebody who has individually been impacted in the most severe way. So keep that in mind.